What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Rivas Talk Sports. My name is John, and today we will be talking about the perfect Packers prospects for this upcoming 2024 NFL Draft, Linebacker Edition. Now, before I get started on who will be the best linebacker prospects for the Green Bay Packers, let's talk about our current linebacker situation. As of right now, we have Preston Smith, Devontae Campbell, Quay Walker, and Rashawn Gary, who are our starting linebackers in our 3-4 defense. But with Jeff Hafley being our defensive coordinator, looks like we're going to be switching to a 4-3 defense. And there's a great chance that we might not see Devondre Campbell back. This might be Preston Smith's last year in our scheme. This is Isaiah McDuffie's last year on his contract. And then next year, Quay Walker is in his last year of his rookie contract. So the linebacker position is not a code red need like it is for the safety position or a cornerback position. But I think it would be smart for us to kind of look ahead, draft some prospects to kind of get the ball rolling to make sure that we're in a great position and not wait last minute to get this position resolved. Um, let's talk about Devontae Campbell's situation. He might not be a great fit for our 4-3 scheme. He's done quite of a good job in our 3-4 scheme working besides Quay Walker, but with how vocal he was towards the end of the season and not wanting to play through his injury, which I understand, but he was being very vocal and kind of put the team on blast on how they're handling about his situation. Um, this past season, he had a cap hit of 5.4 million. With this upcoming season, he will have a cap hit of 14 million. So there's going to be a big balloon on his pay. If we were to cut and trade him before June 1st, we will save $2 million. If we were to cut and trade him after June 1st, we will save $10 million. Although it may be smart to cut and trade him after June 1st, if we wait after June 1st, we might miss out on some pretty good linebacker prospects that are free agents. But I could definitely talk about the free agent side in a different video. But I do believe that us changing our scheme, I believe that we need some depth. I mean, after Preston Smith, we do have Lucas Van Ness. Like I said, it might be Preston Smith's last year, so Lucas Van Ness is going to step into that edge rusher role. I do believe we'll see a lot of Isaiah McDuffie. He did play under Jeff Hafley at Boston College, so there will be some familiarity with the scheme, but he is in his last year of his contract, so that's a up in the air kind of situation. And then we have Eric Wilson, who, yes, he is a backup linebacker, but he seems to be more of a fit on our special teams. And then Kingsley Enagbare, he is on the IR to end the season. We're not too sure how healthy he's going to be when the season starts. So, yes, we do have some pieces right now for a linebacker, but there's a lack of depth, and I think it will be very smart to kind of look into the draft to see who will be the best prospects to kind of plug them in and get the position fit for the next 3 or 4 years, especially if we're going to give Jordan Love a contract extension to make sure we have a great defense. So without further ado, let's talk about the first linebacker prospect. The first prospect that I will be discussing is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from Clemson. He is your traditional linebacker who has the athleticism to play both the Mike linebacker thumper role, who will occasionally work the will role, who is currently one of the top linebackers in the draft. He is coming in at 6 foot, 230 pounds with an expected 4.6 40-yard dash. He is the son of Jeremiah Trotter, who was a great pro linebacker who had a successful career with the Eagles. He has a compact, stout frame with enough mass to take on blocks and make plays through contact. He is a rangy run defender who has a natural feat to get physical in traffic and find the ball. He is your throwback traditional linebacker who will excel in the thumper role in the 4-3 defense, which is the middle linebacker who just plugs the gaps, eats the blocks, and kind of plays that kind of Tampa 2 coverage zone type of position. He If we were to draft him, he can compete for that day one start on the team due to lack of linebacker depth. Worst case scenario, he could just be a backup for a season, develop into a solid starter within a year or two of development. He has good ability to plug running lanes up the middle and takes pride of having correct form tackling ability. He does a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes to drop into coverage and having the awareness to locate receivers within his zone coverage. But overall, he fits the true role of a Mike linebacker who has good football intelligence to be a field general and has great blocking deconstruction to stop the run. He may struggle in man coverage versus running backs or bigger tight ends just due to a lack of speed and explosiveness. Occasionally, he will lose track of the balls on option exchanges and tends to bite a bit on play action fakes, leaving the middle of the field exposed. So that's definitely something that he will need to work on with his eyes if he is going to be that Mike linebacker on the Packers. He's definitely not suited to play the edge as a blitzer, and he can get stalled a bit at point of contact when coming downhill to blitz. But overall, he is a fantastic linebacker prospect in the 2024 draft. And my draft projection for Jeremiah Trotter is the late round 2, early 3rd round, but he's definitely a top 75 player in the draft. So he is definitely a good quality linebacker in the draft. I'm sure he's someone that could be a backup to Isaiah McDuffie or even challenge Isaiah McDuffie and get the starting role. So if we're looking for a thumper role in a 4-3 defense, Jeremiah Trotter will be a great pick. Now, the next linebacker that I'm going to talk about is Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M. Edgerrin Cooper is your modern day do-it-all linebacker who looks like he's being shot out of a cannon as soon as the ball is snapped, and he has the capability to be the heart of the defense with his elite athleticism. He comes in at 6'3", 230 pounds with an expected 4.45, 4.5 40-yard dash. So this guy can fly, especially with a 6'3", 230 frame. He's an elite multi-role linebacker who can play the Mike, the Will, and the Sam role, and his versatility will play huge dividends to a team that is missing a few pieces on defense to become an elite defensive team. In the 2023 season, as a pass rusher, he had 27 total pressures, 12 quarterback hurries, 5 quarterback hits, and 10 sacks. He literally plays like a madman whose hair is on fire. Like, if you watch his highlights, which I'll put all of their highlights in the description, he is flying. He just plays like a madman. His blitzing ability reminds me a lot like Micah Parsonish, and he can cover space and coverage and attack downhill like Fred Warner. So this guy is a true baller. He's kind of like the combination of those two. I'm not saying that he will have a career like those two, but when you watch his highlights and see how he plays, when he blitzed, you're like, wow, like that's very Micah Parson like. Or when he's in coverage and he just goes down off his back pedal to get underneath routes. Wow, that's Fred Warner. So this guy can really play. He's very rangy and instinctive when looking into the backfield when dropping back in coverage, and he possesses elite sideline to sideline ability when chasing a pursuit. He has solid use of change of direction when slipping blocks, and he could beat linemen to the spot as they approach the second level and run. Um, he would not have an issue covering running backs or tight ends just due to his exceptional speed and has a long wingspan to wrap up ball carriers as they're approaching. So rather if they get past them with his long arms, he'll get them, and he has enough speed to cover wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. Maybe not wide receivers, but if he's man coverage with a running back or a tight end, he will be in your back pocket. He's just so fast. Although his speed is his best asset, he can over pursuit sometimes, which can allow shifty ball carriers to kind of juke to the opposite direction, or on play action fakes, he'll kind of misreads and kind of overbites a bit to kind of leave the field exposed a bit. So yes, he is fast, but sometimes that could be a blessing and a curse where he will just over pursue and then just be exposed in kind of bad situations. He may have a maxed out frame where he may get swallowed up by bigger offensive linemen despite effort and intensity. So he does have good frame, but just due to his size, he may have just been already maxed out. So if he's going head to head with a bigger lineman, no matter how much effort or intensity he's going to provide on that play, he just might just get swallowed up by a lineman. He may need to work on pass rush counter moves in the NFL as he just solely relied on his speed in college. Speed in college works a lot, but then when you go in the NFL, you're going to need some pass rush moves, some counters in your back pocket to kind of finesse some savvy offensive linemen. But overall, he's a great player. He will be huge to get. The Packers did speak with him twice in the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl, I believe. So the Packers do have high interest in him. Hopefully we can get him. He will be a great fit for us. And the draft projection that I have for him is the mid to late second round, but with a great combine and elite skills, he could really creep up into an early second round with elite combine results for a needy linebacker team. Like I said before, our linebacker team is a bit set, but there isn't any depth. There are concerns about Isaiah McStuffie's future. He's in his last year. Devontae Campbell might not come back. So there is room to have a linebacker, and he will be a great fit. The third linebacker that I want to talk about is Junior Colson from Michigan. He is a multi-role, smooth-moving, three-down linebacker with high-level coverage skills and plays with violence coming downhill. He knows what it takes to play on a championship-level defense. He was on the undefeated Michigan team that won the college football playoffs, so he knows what it takes to be part of an elite defense. He has a championship mentality, so that is something that is definitely goal for him in the draft. He comes in at 6'3", 247 pounds, with an expected 4.6 40-yard dash. He is a very rangy run defender in which his instincts allow him to locate the ball really quickly and beat offensive linemen to the spots in the second level. He's a natural when it comes to block deconstruction and times it really well when knowing when to counter blocks as the play is developing. He has the agility and speed to cover sideline to sideline, who moves like a safety and loves to finish the play as a violent tackler. He finished this past season with a total of 61 solo tackles, 68 tackles, which finished 61st in all of college, with a missed tackle rate of 4.7%, which is the third lowest in the nation. He rarely misses tackles, and he is constantly glued to ball carriers, which is great. The worst thing that you can have in a linebacker, especially on running plays or passes underneath, is having a linebacker that just misses tackles. He is like a vacuum. He will just swallow you up if you are within his range. 4.7% missed tackle rate, third in the nation out of thousands of college players. This guy's elite when it comes to tackling. He's very comfortable playing in both zone and man coverage and has experience as a quarterback spy, defending flat routes, and keeping athletic quarterbacks behind the line of scrimmage if they are trying to move out the pocket. He's a high-level linebacker who has great transitions to recognize plays to attack downhill or flip his head and hips to run up the seams. Like I said before, he was a starting linebacker on an elite Michigan defense that finished the season undefeated, so he knows what it takes to be a champion, and that's what we need on our defense. We need championship caliber players on our defense to take our team to the next level and hopefully make that Super Bowl trip fairly soon. He has an impressive ability to read and react to the quarterback's eyes, in which they will force him to throw passes in very tight windows, which can force interceptions or incompletions. Although he knows he is a very quick player, like Edgerrin Cooper, he can tend to over pursue on plays and get misdirected on fakes, play actions, counter runs. So that is something to look out for. He is quick, but when you are quick and you have elite speed, tend to overbite and over pursue on certain plays. And his biggest issue are his instincts as a run defender, as he tends to guess a little bit or get a bit hesitant when attacking zone runs, in which he sometimes gets out of position to make the play. But overall, he's a good run defender. He is a championship caliber linebacker. My draft projection for Junior Colson in this draft will be the third round. So if we were to get some prospects in the first and the second round who are not linebackers, and it is our pick on the 80th pick and the 91st pick, and Junior Colson is available, I believe he's someone that we should get, especially with our depth, concerning things that we have in our linebacker room. So if he's someone that is available, especially in the third round, he will be a great fit for the Green Bay Packers. Now, last but not least, this guy is a sleeper. I'm going to throw a sleeper in here as well. His name is James Williams from Miami. He is a project linebacker who played strong safety at the University of Miami throughout his college career, who has serious potential to turn into a sleeper Kyle Duggar, Jeremy Chin type player within a year or two of development, and he is great on the team that just needs some linebacker depth. So he won't be a day one starter. He is someone that if you draft him, he'll be a backup, let him sit or redshirt a bit. So he's great for a team that needs linebacker depth, and within a year or two, he could work for that starting role. He comes in at 6'5", 220 pounds with an expected 4.5 40-yard dash, which is insane. That is an outlier. 6'5", running a 4.5 40. That is crazy. Just imagine him just running at you just that tall and that fast. Within the past 2 years, he's had 200 plus snaps in both the box and as a deep safety. So he's very versatile working near the line of scrimmage or working as a safety. Many scouts believe that he is too tall to be a safety at the next level, which I definitely agree. Usually at that height, 6'5", you're not really a safety. But they made him practice and participate in linebacker drills at the Senior Bowl. Usually when scouts make you practice or participate in a different position than you usually are, they either A, want to see if you are a versatile player, or B, they see you playing a different position in the NFL. So the fact that he is coming in the draft as a safety, but scouts had him practice and participate as a linebacker in the Senior Bowl, there is some versatility in his game. He is someone that can either play that Sam linebacker role or be a hybrid linebacker safety role. So it's very interesting of how it's going to play out in the NFL. So that's definitely something to know about, which is why I believe he's a sleeper. He's more of a project. Due to his outlier frame, he plays with a physical edge in which he could be utilized as an effective blitzer, either off the edge or shoot the gaps in pass rush situations. Since he was a safety throughout college, he has very quick feet and speed to defend slot receivers in man coverage and closing space ability to tackle quickly after the catch. His tall frame and long arms will force quarterbacks to overthrow or force passes in tight windows, which can help create turnovers for the defense, force incompletions, or make the quarterback or their offense just waste drives, which is great. I mean, 6'5", he's very lanky, very fast. So just having him on the field just takes up so much space, which will force quarterbacks to kind of throw in tight windows or just overthrow him because he's just 6'5", which is very tall defender to have on the defense. Although he does not have elite speed, he has long strides to help cover space in a short amount of time. I remember Jeff Hafley in an interview saying that usually with taller athletes, he does not expect them to have elite speed because they just have long strides to make up for it. James Williams was a safety. When you're a safety, you need to have instincts, coverage ability, closing speed ability. So even though he does not have elite speed, just having him have the safety intelligence and the long strides to just have some instincts, I believe that can make up for him not having elite speed, which is kind of good to have. He will be best suited to work near the line of scrimmage as a weak side linebacker or play safety in a pinch when needed. Personally, if you ask me, I think he will see more time on the field as a linebacker than he will as a safety. I mean, 6'5", that's really tall, but I can't see him being utilized on a defense that can have him blitz on the edge, shoot the gaps as a blitzer, as a weak side linebacker, or either in like dime or dollar or nickel packages. You could just kind of have him be in there as like a safety or a linebacker role just due to his pass coverage ability. He's very aggressive as a downhill attacker who will blow up blocks with his length and power as well. And he's very rangy in pass coverage just due to his safety experience. He thrives in run support and will have his number called to blitz just due to his physicality. Although he has long strides, he doesn't have elite foot speed to recover when he's beat. And I believe that he will fall in the draft a bit because not a lot of defensive coordinators are not gonna know what to do with him. Do we put him in safety? Do we put him on linebacker? Do we have him do both? So there are concerns about his true position in the NFL. But overall, when I look at his highlights, he hits and plays like Cam Chancellor. Like, I'm not even exaggerated. And when you look at his highlights on the very first play, he just brings that boom to ball carriers. So he plays like Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor was a fifth-round pick, and he was an elite safety on the Legion of Boom team. But my draft projection for James Williams comes in the mid to late fourth round, potential fifth round, if teams are very undecided of his position in the NFL. It's gonna take a very creative defensive coordinator to see what role he'll fit. But overall, if he comes to the Green Bay Packers and having Jeff Hafley, I believe that we'll get creative with him, throw him into some nickel dime packages as a safety linebacker hybrid. But overall, I believe he's a great sleeper prospect, and I think he'll be huge on a team that's just missing some linebacker depth. But overall, these are my four top perfect Packer prospects linebacker edition. Please check out their highlights in the description so you can check out what I mean. But overall, please like and subscribe to this channel. I will be giving you more content. The next video that I will produce are the next defensive lineman prospect edition. So stay tuned. But overall, thank you for checking it out. Peace out.